Hey, everybody. This week on the Business Owners Corner, I want to talk about a specific type of retirement plan we get quite a few questions about in our financial planning practice, and that's simple IRAs. Simple IRAs are really convenient for a lot of reasons, but they come with strings attached. And I think that a lot of people establishing these types of retirement plans in their businesses don't fully appreciate the nuances of what they're getting themselves into. So this week, I want to spend a minute or two and just talk about that. Simple IRAs are great. And for those of you who are at the point in your business where cash flow is coming in, you have some profitability, you want to save some more for your own retirement beyond the $6,000 or $7,000 you might be able to put into a traditional or a Roth IRA. Starting a retirement plan in the business is a really, really nice way to, and convenient way to do that. The easiest plan to set up, in my opinion, if you have employees, I'm going to assume that you have full-time employees working with you, is a SEP IRA. But the big drawback of the SEP IRA is that if you put in money for yourself into a SEP, you have to put in the same percentage of your employees' compensation for them that you put in for yourself. So if you have $10,000 of self-employment income, or $100,000 of self-employment income, and you make a contribution of $10,000 to a SEP, you've just contributed 10%, which means that you also have to put 10% of each of your employees' compensation into an account for them. And it tends to be expensive and somewhat rigid. With simple IRAs, you set up this retirement plan. In 2022, you get to defer up to $14,000 of your compensation into the plan as a salary deferral, and the business has the opportunity of either matching or making a non-elective contribution on top of that. So what that means is that you can put more money away tax deferred. Some of it comes from you, the employee, some of it comes from the business on behalf of the employee. Your employees have the option, if they're eligible to participate, of deferring their own compensation too. They don't have to, but they can. If they put money in, the company might match it. The company might put a non-elective contribution in, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But it's a pretty nice way to set up a retirement plan that allows you to put more money away tax deferred without a lot of the compliance and operational logistical headaches and costs of a more robust 401k plan. So here's how it works. You establish the plan, you notify all the employees that you have this and that they can participate if you want. You can start putting money in out of your own compensation if you want. It's all tax deferred. That's great. We like that. You can invest those contributions as you want, as can your employees. That's the good side of it. The bad side of it is that they're fairly rigid plans. Without having a whole lot of compliance obligation and responsibility every year, you have to adhere to some really strict requirements. And one of those is, if the employees participate, you have to choose every year whether you're going to match their contributions or put 2% of their W 2 compensation into the plan on their behalf, whether they participate or not. The contributions are limited to 3% of their comp. And so if you choose to match employee contributions, that means that if you have one employee and one employee only, and they make $100,000 a year, if they put in $1,000 on their own into the plan, the business is going to match that with a $1,000 contribution on their behalf. But if they put in $5,000, that's 5% of their comp, which is greater than the 3% limit. They put in $5,000, you're only obligated to put in $3,000 on their behalf. But the business is committing to put something in to the account on behalf of the employees. The other option is to make the non-elective contribution. And regardless of whether the employee is going to contribute on their own or not, the business is agreeing to put in $2,000 or 2% of their comp that year, rain or shine, no matter what. You do have a little bit of flexibility. You can suspend that periodically based on IRS rules, but you're agreeing and committing to make that contribution. Now, here's the ugly part of simple IRAs. If you have employees and you're going to allow them to participate in the plan, which again you have to do if they're eligible based on the IRS rules, they put money into the plan. If you have somebody that makes $5,000 in a month and they decide that they want to contribute 250 of those to the simple IRA plan, well, when you run your payroll, you account for that and pull back 250 of their W-2 compensation. They open a simple IRA on their own. You're not the one out there opening accounts for them. They open a simple IRA account at their brokerage firm of choice. You then have withheld that $250 from their paycheck and have an obligation to deposit it in their account within 30 days. And that deposit has to happen on time. If you don't make it on time, it's a huge compliance problem for you. And so here's the issue. If you have a bunch of employees, they may all decide to open their simple IRA accounts at different brokerage firms. And you or your payroll person may be then responsible for depositing John's $250 at Fidelity and Karen's $250 at Charles Schwab and Mike's $250 at Merrill Lynch. And it becomes an operational nightmare really quickly. So it's a great plan if you're looking to put more money away for retirement than what you can contribute through a traditional or Roth IRA. It's a great plan if you have employees and making contributions for them is expensive in a SEP IRA, and you don't want the cost and operational headaches of sponsoring a bona fide 401k plan. It's a nice middle ground, but there are a lot of strings attached that you need to be aware of before signing that adoption agreement.